Hi everyone, George Farmer here, and I'm very excited to show off this brand new aquascape that I've created in the beautiful OASE StyleLine 85. It's a great aquarium kit. It comes complete with a cabinet, an internal filter which is the OASE BioPlus Thermo 100, and also LED lighting which consists of two 8-watt LEDs at 6500 Kelvin, making it ideal for plant growth. So we'll go through the whole process, how I aquascape this. I really hope you enjoy it, and make sure you stay subscribed to the OASE channels for further updates. The first part of the aquascaping process is to plan the layout. Making notes and sketching ideas is a great idea. I have decided to create an iwagumi style layout, which is based on using rocks as the decoration material. I have a selection of mini landscape rock ready to use, and I begin practicing a layout in my garden. Some aquarium shops may also have a sandbox area dedicated to practicing your hardscaping ideas, so you can try before you buy. My top tips for choosing hardscape is to ensure that it fills up the aquarium in a manner that achieves a good aesthetic balance and looks as natural as possible. Don't be afraid to practice and experiment with different designs over and over again until you are 100% happy. The more you practice, the easier this process will become. Here is my final design that I am happy with. It looks well balanced and natural, with good height to ensure it fills the StyleLine 85 nicely. The next stage is to add our aquarium soil. This is a great product that contains nutrients to help feed our aquarium plants that will be added later. It doesn't require washing and should be added directly to the aquarium. Here I am using one 9-litre bag of Tropica aquarium soil that's flattened out with a paintbrush. Now it's time to add our rocks, using the same layout as practiced in my garden. The first rock is buried in the soil to provide a base for the main rock. This rock is the most important, as it is the main focal point to the aquascape and needs to be positioned so it looks naturally balanced. The smaller rocks are then placed around the main rock in a manner that also looks as natural as possible. A top tip here is to have the natural lines of the smaller rocks flowing towards the main rock. Next, I use a paintbrush to slightly slope the soil upwards towards the rocks. This also helps to make the layout look more natural. We are now ready to add our aquarium plants. In this aquascape, we're using a selection of Tropica 1-2 grow plants that are all easy to grow and don't require CO2 injection or high levels of lighting. All of these species will eventually form a solid carpet over the coming weeks that will completely cover the soil. Preparing the plants is a simple process that involves rinsing off the nutrient-rich liquid first in a bowl of water. Then it is a case of simply splitting each pot into as many portions as possible. Here I am just using one pot of each species. These plants are tissue cultured in laboratory conditions, meaning they are guaranteed to be free from algae, pest snails and disease. They are very young plants, so are smaller than regular potted plants, but there is a much greater quantity of individual plants in each pot versus a regular pot. Now it's time to add our plants using aquascaping tweezers. These are an essential tool for aquascaping, especially when planting small species in confined areas. I prefer to plant into dry soil as it creates less mess and the plants are less likely to float after filling the aquarium with water. The first species I'm planting is Starogini repens. This is an easy plant that will form an attractive bushy appearance around the base of the rocks. Trimming the stems once the plant has settled in will encourage side shoots that will increase the overall plant density. Next I add Hardscape Tantalum Green to the foreground. This easy carpeting species is a fast grower that sends out runners to form a solid grass-like lawn effect after several weeks. The soil will definitely help its growth, as will the regular addition of a good quality liquid fertiliser. CO2 injection is not necessary with these easy plants, but it will be a consideration in the future if I want an overall improvement in plant growth. Now I am planting Sagittaria subulata. This easy mid-ground plant will also send out runners to eventually form a solid carpet. Over the long term, it may be necessary to trim the runners and remove excess growth to prevent it from spreading all over the aquarium. The texture is similar to the Hardscape and should blend in nicely, giving a really natural look over the coming weeks. The final 1-2 grow plant I'm adding is Hardscape quadricostatus. This grows taller than the Tantalum Green, but has a similar texture and growth pattern. It produces runners prolifically and will definitely need keeping in check to prevent it from overtaking the whole aquarium. Now we are ready to fill with water. I pump my water in directly and use a kitchen colander to help disperse the water, helping to avoid it from disturbing the soil too much. The occasional plant may decide to float away from the soil, so simply replant these again with aquascaping tweezers. The final plants I'm adding are Bucophalandra and Vallisneria. The Bucophalandra is an epiphyte plant that grows best attached to the rocks. It's another easy plant, but is slow growing and does well in the shade. Here I am attaching the Bucophalandra to the rocks just by gently inserting the plant in between them. Vallisneria is planted in the back left to help hide the filter and also to add an interesting tall grass backdrop effect. That's the aquascape complete. Now we switch on the BioPlus Thermo 100 filter and heater and set our lights to come on regularly for 8 hours per day using a plug-in timer. I set the heater to 24 degrees Celsius. Over the next few weeks I will perform large frequent water changes to help avoid algae issues, and after 3 to 4 weeks I can think about adding my first fish. I really hope you've enjoyed watching this aquascaping process in the beautiful OASE StyleLine 85. Make sure you follow OASE on all of their social media channels for future updates. Take care, bye for now.